It is Thursday, and we are back for another eye critique. We are on number 13, moving right along. So once again, if you guys want to send in your images to me to get a critique, my opinion. Once again, it is just my opinion, but to give an outside perspective is always something good to hear, so that way maybe you could see flaws or something that you didn't before. So if you want, send a Flickr link or maybe like 5 or 6 of your images to eric@ericrossi.com, and in that, say I have permission to view them on YouTube, like Jurian here, and I'm going to review his Flickr set. Say I have permission to view them, and if you can give me some background on the gear you're using, that would be great. So as I said, we have a 16-year-old photographer here, and that doesn't matter age, and his name is Jurian. He's from the Netherlands. Thank you for tuning in from the Netherlands. It's really awesome to see the reach. And so he wanted to get his Flickr set critiqued, and we're going to do that right now. And once again, he gave me permission. Thank you. And it's great to see that he uses the Canon 60D, but then he used the 1000D before, so that way we kind of get we know what he's using. So let's just jump right into the set. Now, if you see a jump cut or two, it's because Flickr places ads in between things, so that's why. So we do kind of have a mixed set here of kind of maybe some artsy things and some portraits and just some things, kind of insert shots. So let's go through them. I think we have 6. Okay, so this one you took in January. I kind of like what you were going for here. I mean, to me, there's not a ton going on, only because the light, I know it's a light bulb, obviously. I do like the creativity of it, but like the background, especially over here, is just a little too distracting. Like my eye goes right for that white on that side. So that's one thing I would say. Maybe if you use this against maybe an entire darker background and got more lights in there, got more reflections, it would work better. This is more of a, as I said, like an artsy shot. I agree that should be out of focus to kind of give you that visual interest, but it's just the background and the fact it's a little tilted just kind of takes away, especially that white spot right here. Trust me, I'm glad you don't have a watermark on this or anything. But yeah, that kind of distracts because that's really in focus. That's hyper in focus. So I would say get a darker background, incorporate more of the lights. I like what you were going for here. It's creative, especially here. As I said, it works artsy, but a little too distracting. Let's move on. Okay, and I mean, it's cool at first because you have to look at it and go like, oh, whoa, what exactly is that? I know, and it's a pretty good guess that it's, obviously a dog, shaking off after, he got really, really wet. And I don't know if I needed a little more in focus. It's nice. The exposure's good. Great use of, a slower shutter speed, just for, let's see what we got here. Let's see if it tells us. So we're using, you captured a little bit of movement there, which is nice at 1/100th of a second. And if we were higher, it wouldn't work as well. Let's see, f5.6 at 300 millimeters, so you're using a 7300. And I guess you were further away and you zoomed in. It works really well because you get the bokeh, out here. I think I would have liked to seen a little more in focus though, because all I can kind of see it is here. Now it might have been kind of cool if you were a little wider, maybe show was more of the dog, and you would have got the the chaotic movement. But I think it kind of works here, the crop with it. I mean, does it blow me away? I'll be honest. I mean, it's nothing. It doesn't like go like, oh, wow. But the thing it does do, as I said, it kind of makes you stop and think, what is going on? I mean, as I said, you could kind of tell it's a dog. But I think you did a good job with, coming in tighter and, kind of showing and stopping the motion with, 1/100th of a second. I think that's a nice job. I think it could be just done a little better, maybe a little wider to see the entire scene. Maybe the dog could have been having a crazy face and really make the shot, and not just something tighter, so where you're kind of guessing. But once again, not terrible, not too bad. So it looks like we were at a wedding, and you were maybe second shooting or doing something on the side, and you captured, people walking down the aisle, and that's typically how it goes. You have the procession, then you have the bride and the groom come down. So yeah, I mean, it's just kind of more of a snapshot. It's not bad. The lighting isn't bad on him, so you exposed well. I guess maybe tighten it up a little more, or if that's the case, get a little bit more of the huge hat she's wearing, on this side. The bokeh looks good. The focus is, you know what though? In something like this, I usually set mine to about like f6.4 or f6.5 or something, so that way I can get both. If I'm on the side, typically I'm down the middle, so it doesn't matter. They're on the evil focal plane. But as you can see, they're kind of staggered. He's up a little more, she's back a little bit. So because f4 if you think about it, is actually kind of shallow. That's why he's in focus and she's a little blurry. Next time I would definitely watch, because it looks like you could totally raise your ISO, mess with your shutter to compensate for anything, and you'd be fine. Maybe shoot at like f6.5 or something, so that way they're both in focus and it would really work for this. Plus this background would still blow out because you're at 105 millimeters and using a pretty strong lens for that. So that would be my advice for this, and maybe just a little down more to the right, because it's just kind of off a little bit and it's a little more headroom. So just kind of bring it down, tighten it up. But yeah, definitely you're on the right track. It's not bad. The exposure is well, but maybe I would drop the exposure a little bit just to get more on her, just to brighten that up a little bit. But yeah, watch your aperture on something like this. Okay, and we have this. I really like this. The composition is perfect. Some people might be like, oh, I hate that it's cropped in. Well, once again, photography is subjective. It's art. It's awesome. I really do like the crop. I like that it isn't exactly dead center either, because you can see he's kind of to the left side of the frame more, which works really, really well. Maybe I want to see the exposure drop. Let's see what this says. Image height, image depth. It doesn't go into the settings. Does it? No. Okay. Well, what I just wanted to say, I wanted to see what aperture you were at, but I'd say drop the highlights a little bit, drop the exposure just a touch to give a little bit back more. It is a little blown out on the cheeks, but it's a strong edit. The black and white works really, really well. I love the catch lights in the eyes. It works well. I think that's a person, actually. Yeah, I think that's a person. But the depth of field is nice. You were probably using the 24 to 105. You know what? No. You might have been using the nifty 50 1.8. You got really close. It really you use a very shallow depth of field, and that's where you just see it fall out of focus coming down here on the sides. And yeah, so yeah, it's a really, really strong shot. I think this is one of the strongest shots you have in regards to like a portrait. So if you had more of these, I think you could do a whole series with something like this. You know, moving around a little bit, different facial features, maybe mess with lighting a little bit, mess with some contrast. And I think you can get a really nice set of portraits, something tight, something close, something that can really kind of tell like I guess like a photo story. But really strong shot. Black and white works perfect, especially with the skin tone. I think it works really well, covering up some things as well. So really, really strong shot. And I think this is the last one we had in our set. And as I said, this is kind of a mixed bag. Or no, we have one more. Sorry. Yeah, it's a really, really nice time of day. The only thing, let's see. I like the colors. I like what's going on here. But what I would do is I would get even lower, because you're just kind of, as you see, the horizon just kind of cuts off in the middle. You could make it more dynamic, and I would definitely like maybe use like something gradiated to kind of bring out the detail in the sky more. That's just me kind of like nitpicking, I guess. But what I would do is I would get lower on the level, shoot up a little more, especially you have the 28 end on the 28 to 135 lens here, and I would just do something a little different, and yeah, you get a little distortion, but it would look really good. The building, the sky, and especially this would look dynamic. It would get you leading around. So I think if you were down more, even if you almost laid down or you were on your knees, it would really work out, and this would definitely give you a leading line, because I see what you did here. You wanted to kind of use that as a leading line, but as I said, the problem is, with landscapes and or anything like that, when you have the horizon in the middle, the visual interest just isn't 100% there. So my advice, Jurian, is to get down, shoot lower, try different perspective, and I think you'll find out it really, really, really works. So once again, I like the color. I like what's going on here. Just do a different perspective. I think it will be stronger. And as for our last shot, nothing huge here. It's just a great little street shot. This is something that could be in like I guess like a story portfolio or something like that, or kind of like a miscellaneous. I don't know what it is exactly. Maybe I'm just not familiar with London on the Streets. I obviously think that's a bike path or something. But maybe in a photo set it would make more sense if you were following like street bikers, or if you were documenting that. But if it was just on his own, I don't know if it's really strong. But I do like the black and white. I do like the shadows, and I guess the time of day it was, because it was very, very harsh sunlight, as you can tell from the harsh shadows. But yeah, it's an okay shot. Once again, there's just not much there unless there was more of a story. But Jurian, I think you are on really, really nice track. You got some good gear, and you do have a good eye. Once again, I like that you're looking for the small details like this, so don't stop doing that. you picked a great time of day when the sun was setting to go out and shoot this. As I said, try a different perspective, even maybe a little higher and shoot down, but I think a little lower and shooting up would really make this stronger. I think this is your strongest shot. I mean, there's little tweaks here and there on some things, but you really are on the right track. So Jurian, thank you so much for watching. Thank you for sending in your images. Once again, I appreciate it, and hopefully this helped you out. If you guys have any questions or comments, please write them down below. Give some critique on yourself down in the comments. I think it'd be awesome to give some feedback to Jurian as he progresses. And once again, I think he's really on the right track, and I'm not just saying that. So thank you guys for watching these. I know they're a little bit longer of a video, but I've always enjoyed seeing these around from various, YouTube photographers and in general, because it's always awesome to get some insight. As I said, if you guys want to send in some images, get me a Flickr link, send it to eric@ericrossi.com. Give me permission and tell me what kind of gear you have, and we'll get you on a future upcoming episode. So that's it on iCritique number 13. Once again, thank you, Jurian. Everyone, keep an eye out.